Hello, mum dears. Are you going to listen to me before I have to disintegrate you? Unfortunately, my body has been took over by the entity of the Master, and at the moment, he's asleep. My mind is pretty strong to try and hold back his will, but he wants me to do a video on my top five favorite stories from the Master through TV and, of course, Big Finish. Now, I'm probably going to say this right now. Big Finish, I've only listened to 2 incarnations of the Master, which is, of course, Jeffrey Beaver's incarnation of the Master, and, of course, Alex McQueen's version of the Master, and there is a Big Finish story in this list. So, let's dive straight into this. In number 5, it is, of course, his very first appearance, Terror of the Autons. Now, I absolutely do love this story. Jon Pertwee is amazing. It's got the return of the Autons. Even though the Master's basically got the Autons to work for him to try and invade the Earth, and the Doctor did stop them the first time. Honestly, to introduce the Master in Season 8, it's really interesting. It's really great. It makes the season one of the best seasons for Jon Pertwee. I'm going to be honest. It's my 3rd favourite season from Jon Pertwee's era. I have to admit, I honestly do love the fact Roger Delgado is brilliantly and fantastic as the Master. He's brilliant. He's supreme. Tell the Autons, I absolutely love the way he goes to the he rings up the Doctor. The Doctor goes, "Hello, who is this?" "I'd like to ring you, Doctor. I'd like to say simply goodbye." And he gets hold of this ring, and the telephone wire comes to life and literally, captures the Doctor. And then, of course, the Master does escape by basically faking his death and driving off in the bus that he had for the Autons in. Honestly, this story is brilliant. It's the very first appearance of the Master as a character. It's Roger Delgado's very first appearance as the Master. It is also Katie Madigan's very first story as Jo Grant. And, of course, it's the very first story to feature Captain Mike Yates. And it's just a brilliant story from Jon Pertwee's 2nd season. So, number 4, my 4th favourite story from this out of the Master's run, it has got to be The Planet of Fire. Jumping into 1984. This story is Peter Davison's last ever story against the Master. So really, it's the 5th Doctor's last story to basically come across the Master, aka Anthony Ainley's incarnation. Honestly, this story really does pan out. I love the fact we are literally got the filming location of Lanazati for the Planet of Fire. I absolutely love the fact Tarlo leaves to go and get his own people, go back to his own people. Chameleon does die because basically he has been controlled by the Master and he's literally shape-shifting abilities. And you kind of do see Perry kind of go, "Ah!" And the Master goes, "I am the Master and you will obey me." I honestly have to admit, I do love that line. "I am the Master and you will obey me. You will obey me." Honestly, I love Anthony Ainley's performance. Where he literally there, where you kind of got Chameleon literally shapeshift into Perry's kind of stepdad, and then he's there in the TARDIS going, "The TARDIS is mine." What? I got full control. And when you kind of see Chameleon literally shapeshift into the Master, Anthony Ainley's Master, I really love that. I really love that cliffhanger to part 1. Honestly, love it. And he goes, "I am the Master and you will obey me." And I love the way how the Master's basically nearly killed himself by messing around with his tissue manipulator. Basically, he shrunk himself down and he needs to use the kind of fire from the planet to resurrect himself, which basically kind of does, but the Doctor interferes in it and the Master basically burns to death. Or so he thinks. He does return in the next season with the 6th Doctor. I really do love Planet of Fire. It's my favourite Peter Davison story for the Master. I absolutely love it. I have to admit, out of all the stories for the Master that we've got for Peter Davison, like Castrovalva, Time Flight, The King's Demon, The 5 Doctors, Planet of Fire is my all-time favourite story for Peter Davison, and of course Anthony Ainley as the Doctor and Master. I really do love these 2, Doctor and Master together, but this is my favourite story of them. Number 3, it is another good story. It is, of course, The Deadly Assassin, starring, of course, my favourite Doctor behind me, Mr. Tom Baker, against Peter Pratt's version of the decaying Master. Yes, so the Master is basically dying. His whole body has become a massive decaying state. What happens, do you think? Oh yeah, the Master's back on Gallifrey. He's going to try and steal the power of the Eye of Harmony to renew himself. And how does he do this? With the Stash of Rassilon and the Rod of Rassilon. And he's there trying to gain the power of the to get extra like a whole new regeneration cycle from the Eye of Harmony. And of course, the Fourth Doctor interferes and shuts it down after the Fourth Doctor basically works out the Master isn't really dead. It was all a ploy. It's all a ploy, I tell you. Yes, the Master's not dead. He does actually escape, because we do see him escape in his TARDIS, aka disguised as a clock. And he literally dematerializes, and then of course you got the two Time Lords talking. I hope the universe is big enough for the two of them. I seriously don't think so. Honestly, I just love that line. I really do love Anthony Ainley's performance as the Master. Not Anthony, sorry, Peter Pratt's performance as the Master. But I have to admit, out of Peter Pratt and Jeffrey Beavers, this is my favourite story for Tom Baker against the Master. So, number 2, my second favourite story to feature the Master, and we're going back into Anthony Ainley. It is Survival. Yes, I absolutely do love the story. It's the last story of classic Doctor Who. It's the last story in total, and it's the last ever appearance of Anthony Ainley as the Master on TV screen. So, what can I say about it? Well, I absolutely love it, because the fact that you got the Master literally managed to land on a planet of cheetah people, the cheetah virus is basically infecting the Master and his judgment. It's not really very like campy-ish like he is in some of the 80s stuff with Peter Davis and Colin Baker. In this one, the Master is more better. I absolutely love Anthony Ainley in this story, which is why this is my second favourite Master story. I honestly love the way how the 7th Doctor and the Master really kind of like bounce off each other with the roles, and of course when the Doctor's there about to bash the Master's head in part 3, and the Doctor delivers that line going, "If we fight like animals, we'll die like animals." And then of course he vanishes back onto the Earth because of the power between the cheetah people, and has the power to jump from planet to planet to planet. And of course the Master's basically there. He gets infected. I absolutely love his reveal at part 1 where the Doctor literally moves the umbrella and he goes, "Why, Doctor, what an unexpected pleasure." Honestly, I just love Survival. And of course, number 1, my all-time favourite Master story, and this takes it really, really well because I've only listened to this a month ago, and it has got to be Master of the Daleks from the Big Finish series, Dark Eyes 4. Honestly, I just love the story. I love the fact how you got the Dalek time controller controlling one race of Daleks, where you kind of got one race of Daleks obeying the Master because the Master's done something to make them obey him. And of course, a Daleks of War breaks out with the Santarans in the middle of it all, and of course, the 8th Doctor. Alex McQueen plays this version of the Master really, really well. I honestly have to admit, I absolutely love it. I mean, my favourite Master story before this with Big Finish was actually Eye of the Master, which is in Dark Eyes 2. And the fact that this one actually tops over that one to make it into this top 5. It's really impressive because the fact is, though, you've got the Dalek time controller working with the Master. The Master is basically going to betray the Dalek time controller. The Dalek time controller basically betrays the Master. And a civil war breaks out between the Daleks time controller Daleks and, of course, the Master's Daleks. And the 8th Doctor is literally in the middle of this whole situation. He finds out that his old friend Molly O'Sullivan is actually in the heart of this battle, thanks to the Master. Yeah, the Master basically, you know, he's the Master. He goes and kidnaps her for the power of her dark eyes. I absolutely love this story. I love the way how the Master is portrayed by Alex McQueen. I know Alex McQueen has done several other audios because he's done one with Sylvester McCoy called The Two Masters. I know he's done one with Colin Baker, which I do kind of want to get them listen to it, but I need to listen to the beginning of the trilogy saying, "And You Will Obey Me," which is a Peter Davis story, which is a trilogy for the Master with Peter Davis against Jeffrey Beavers. You got Colin Baker against Alex McQueen, and then you literally got Jeffrey Beavers, Alex McQueen's Masters versus the 7th Doctor, which is, I actually think that it's the first ever multi-Master story from Big Finish, and I do need to listen to that one. I absolutely do love the way how the TV show only managed to do a Master story in World Nothing Time and the World Nothing Time and the Doctor Falls. But Big Finish, I have to admit, I really think Big Finish did it first, way back in 2014, 2015, with Jeffrey Beavers and Alex McQueen's Masters. Honestly, I just have to admit, the Master of the Daleks is just another fantastic story. I absolutely love Alex McQueen's performance against Paul McGann's 8th Doctor, which is why, really, for my 8th Doctor video I'm going to do, Dark Eyes has really pushed up the 8th Doctor in the in my Doctor's list. He's actually pushed him up into 6th place, because I really love Dark Eyes. It's great to listen to a whole new kind of side to the Doctor, and the fact we've got a brand new Master as well, it's just superb. I honestly love Alex McQueen's incarnation of the Master. I really want this version of the Master to come into the TV series. I don't care if it's after Sacha Dhawan or Russell T Davies brings her in. I just want Alex McQueen's Master on the TV screen, because he is so cunning. He reminds me a lot of Roger Delgado. He reminds me a lot of Anthony Ainley. He really does bounce off these two Masters really well into his performance. And when I listen to it, I really hear, when you get to hear his like evil laugh, I'm like, that evil laugh reminds me a bit of Anthony Ainley's evil laugh. And I just absolutely genuinely love it. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. It's just brilliant. So thank you for watching this video. Now, I think the entity of the Master is going to finally leave my body now I've done it. And thank you for watching. And please do like, subscribe and share and join for more awesome Doctor Who content. And let me know in the comments, what is your 5 favourite Master stories? Thank you for watching and have a cracking day.